Garry has issued a bold warning to Belal Muhammad as tensions rise ahead of their highly anticipated welterweight clash in Qatar next month. The war of words between the two fighters has already begun, setting the stage for one of the most talked about matchups of the year. During his recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Garry didn't hold back, confidently declaring that he plans to finish Muhammad in dominant fashion. "I'm going to finish Belal Muhammad," Garry stated. "I want to make it absolutely unquestionable that I'm the single greatest welterweight walking on this planet." His comments reflect not only his trademark confidence but also his clear intention to use this fight as a statement performance to cement his place among the division's elite. Muhammad, never one to back down from a challenge, quickly fired back on social media. Responding to Garry's comments, he accused the Irish fighter of avoiding a 5-round bout. "Ian, you can't call for a title fight if you're afraid to make the fight 5 rounds, Muhammad wrote. He went on to reveal that Garry only agreed to the fight under the condition that it would be scheduled for 3 rounds, implying that the undefeated contender lacked the endurance or courage to go the distance. He wouldn't take it unless it was 3, Muhammad added, stoking the flames of their rivalry even further. With the fight just weeks away, the MMA community has been divided on who holds the advantage. Analysts, fighters, and fans have all weighed in, offering different perspectives on how the bout might unfold. During a recent ESPN MMA interview, analyst Alan Jouban shared his breakdown of the matchup. According to Jouban, the key factor lies in which version of Belal Muhammad shows up on fight night. "This matchup for me is about which Belal we're going to see," Jouban explained. The Belal before the JDM fight was taking everyone down, even some of the UFC's best grapplers. He was dominating with his wrestling. Jouban went on to point out that Muhammad seemed to stray from his strengths in his recent fight against Jack Della Maddalena, relying too heavily on striking instead of his grappling. "He thought he was going to come out and box like Canelo, but it didn't work out," Jouban said. "Against Ian Garry, he needs to go to his wrestling early. Garry is too tall, too fast, and too sharp on the feet." As fight night approaches, both competitors appear more motivated than ever, with Garry's confidence clashing against Muhammad's determination. Their verbal exchanges have only heightened anticipation for what promises to be a thrilling encounter between two top welterweights eager to prove themselves on the biggest stage. Tom Aspinall has sent a strong message to the UFC's heavyweight division, warning his rivals that they have yet to see the full extent of his skills. The reigning interim heavyweight champion, known for his lightning-fast finishes and technical precision, has built a reputation as one of the most dangerous and efficient fighters in the sport. Yet according to Aspinall himself, fans and opponents alike have only witnessed a small fraction of what he's truly capable of inside the octagon. In a recent interview with RMC Sport Combat, Aspinall reflected on the unique advantage his quick victories have given him. "Because my fights end so quickly, people have only seen about 10 to 20% of what I can actually do," he explained. "If I can go through my career and nobody's really seen everything, that's ideal for me. Every long fight gives my opponents more footage to study, so the less they see, the better." This level of mystery surrounding Aspinall's skill set has made him an especially difficult puzzle for potential challengers. Despite having already competed 9 times in the UFC, most of his bouts have ended in the first round, with only one opponent managing to push him into the second. The British powerhouse's speed, agility, and well-rounded technical ability make him one of the most complete heavyweights on the roster, but he believes his brevity in the cage keeps him unpredictable. "This is my 10th UFC fight, and still, people have only seen a small portion of my game," Aspinall continued. "That's one of my biggest advantages, nobody really knows what I can do. They see a few minutes of striking or grappling, but there's a lot more that I've never had to show." Aspinall's dominance has come from a combination of elite boxing, high-level jiu-jitsu, and a fight IQ rarely seen in the heavyweight division. His ability to adapt and finish opponents quickly has turned him into one of the UFC's fastest rising stars. However, with a matchup against former interim champion Cyril Gane looming, many wonder whether Gane's technical striking and composure will finally test Aspinall's endurance and force him into deeper waters. As fight night approaches, the question remains: will Gane be the man to expose the parts of Aspinall's game the world hasn't seen yet? Or will the British champion once again prove that his short fights are no accident, but the product of true heavyweight mastery? UFC President Dana White recently addressed the growing curiosity surrounding the highly anticipated UFC White House event during a post-fight press conference following the latest Dana White's Contender Series card. While rumors and speculation have circulated about potential matchups and headliners, White was quick to clarify that the organization has not yet begun planning any fights for the event. Speaking to reporters, White emphasized that discussions about the card are still months away from starting. "We haven't even talked about one fight that could be on this card," he said. "We're not even looking at the White House card until February. We have literally not discussed a single matchup yet." His comments come as fans eagerly await details about what is expected to be one of the UFC's most unique and high-profile events, rumored to take place in March. During the press conference, White was also asked about the status of Conor McGregor, who was recently suspended under the UFC's anti-doping policy. The question raised speculation about whether McGregor could still participate in the White House card, given the timeline of his suspension and its possible expiration. White, however, avoided committing to any answer regarding McGregor's eligibility, deferring the matter to UFC regulatory officials. "We won't even start planning until February," he reiterated. "And then, whether he's available or not, you'll have to talk to Jeff Nowitzki about that." Nowitzki, the UFC's Vice President of Athlete Health and Performance, oversees matters related to the organization's anti-doping compliance and athlete eligibility. The White House card has become a hot topic in the MMA community, largely because of its symbolic name and potential historic significance. Although specific details remain unclear, fans and analysts have speculated that the event could feature some of the sport's biggest names and champions, possibly even involving international collaboration or a special venue. For now, White's statements make it clear that the UFC's immediate focus lies elsewhere, specifically on completing the remaining fights of the current calendar year and finalizing major pay-per-view events. Once the new year begins, discussions about the White House card are expected to accelerate, revealing what could become one of the most talked-about fight cards in recent memory. Until then, Dana White's message was straightforward. The event is still in its early conceptual phase, no fights have been discussed, and decisions, including those regarding McGregor, will only be made once planning officially begins in February. Khamzat Chimaev has once again shaken up the MMA world by calling out reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira for a potential showdown at 205 pounds. Known for his fearless attitude and willingness to face anyone, Chimaev made it clear in a recent interview with Aslam Badvi that he's ready to move up in weight and chase a second world title. A move that could make him one of the rare double champions in UFC history. Chimaev, who has already competed at both welterweight and middleweight, expressed strong interest in testing himself against Pereira, whose devastating knockout power has made him one of the most feared strikers in the sport. "If you ask me, of course I would love to fight for the second belt," Chimaev said. "It's no secret that the guy who's got the belt at 205 right now is a very good matchup for me, unless I get reckless standing with him." Despite acknowledging Pereira's power, Chimaev made it clear he doesn't see the Brazilian as an unbeatable threat. "They say he has a lot of power, but I've never been edged out in that area," he explained confidently. He used to fight at 185 too, and then moved up to 205. "So, I would like to fight at light heavyweight." Chimaev's comments come at a time when fans have been speculating about his next move following a string of dominant performances and the ongoing uncertainty surrounding his next opponent. The prospect of a fight between Chimaev and Pereira has captivated MMA fans, given both fighters' explosive styles, Pereira's world-class striking versus Chimaev's relentless grappling and wrestling pressure. However, Borz made it clear that while he's open to chasing the light heavyweight belt, he's not fixated on any single opponent. "Whatever they give me, Nassourdine, Dricus, or Hernandez, I don't care," Chimaev said. "Just pay me some good money." His statement underscored his trademark mindset. He'll fight anyone, anytime, at any weight. Chimaev also emphasized the importance of staying ready and fearless, regardless of who stands across the cage. "When you take it easy, I've always been like that. If you consider yourself the best, you shouldn't care who you have to fight." With his unmatched confidence and relentless ambition, Khamzat Chimaev's challenge to Alex Pereira has reignited discussions about a potential superfight, one that could redefine divisions and further cement Chimaev's reputation as one of the most daring competitors in the UFC. UFC analyst and former fighter Dean Thomas has voiced serious concerns about a potential return to competition for former bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey, stating that she should not be cleared to fight due to her previous neurological issues. His comments come amid growing speculation that Rousey may be considering a comeback after recent appearances in the gym and hints of renewed interest in combat sports. Rousey, once one of the biggest stars in MMA history, previously revealed on Chris Van Vliet's Insight podcast that she is not neurologically fit to compete, even if she wanted to. The former Olympian explained that years of intense training and competition had taken a toll on her body, especially her brain health. At the time, her comments appeared to put an end to any discussion of a return to the octagon. However, since giving birth and getting back into training, fans have reignited talk of a potential comeback, sparking both excitement and concern within the MMA community. Dean Thomas, speaking on the Bonfire podcast, made it clear that allowing Rousey to fight again would be a major mistake. "She shouldn't even be cleared," Thomas said. "How irresponsible would it be for a fight organization to hear all that? Her admitting she's not neurologically fit, and then still put her in a fight?" He went on to question whether Rousey's previous comments might have been a subtle way to discourage any attempt to bring her back into competition. "To me, it almost sounds like she leaked that stuff in hopes that they don't put her back in a fight. You can't play with those issues." Thomas emphasized that any decision to book Rousey again would not only endanger her health but also reflect poorly on the sport as a whole. "It wouldn't be good for the sport," he continued. "It would be a really bad look to have someone talk openly about those types of problems and then, knowing that, still put her in a fight. If that's the case, we've got to keep her out of the octagon." While speculation continues to swirl, Rousey herself has shown no indication that she's actively pursuing a UFC return. In a recent interview with TMZ Sports, she clarified that she's simply enjoying training again, focusing on her health, and rediscovering her rhythm in the gym. For now, it seems Rousey's passion for combat sports remains alive, but her days as a professional fighter may be firmly behind her.